Hello, Fit Fam! Welcome to this live where we will be talking all about breathwork, what it is, why it's powerful, and what it can do for you. And then at the end, I'm going to lead you through a mini breathwork session. But before we get into it, for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Sarah Harkin. I am a certified life coach and breathwork facilitator. I was involved in FIT for a couple of years, doing yoga there, teaching yoga, leading breathwork sessions, and I am so happy and excited to be back this Thursday to host this breathwork ceremony for those of you who will be in attendance. So a lot of you who are already signed up have done breathwork with me before. You know how amazing it is. So maybe you just want to hang out here for a reminder. I know it's been a while. It's been a year, a little over a year since I've hosted a breathwork session at Fit Physique. And for those of you who are brand new to breathwork, hang out. I'm so excited to talk a little bit more about the practice so that you can feel into if this workshop is a yes or a no for you at this time. All right, so we're gonna start. It's so challenging to explain what breathwork is and the power of breathwork through words. If you've done a session with me before, you know this. I have so many breathers reach out and they're like, so I'm trying to get my partner, my friend, my cousin, my aunt to come to a session, and they're asking me about breathwork and what it is, and I just don't know how to explain it to them. Can you give me some guidance? It is really hard to put this experience into words. And I think that's for multiple reasons. First of all, breathwork is energy work. So we're working with the emotions and the energy of the body, and that's not explained necessarily in words. I'm going to give you some stories today that are going to help you kind of feel into what this is all about. Stories from my life and then stories from other breathers of mine as well. But it is really hard to put into words what it is and what it does for you, because also it's always so different for everybody. Everybody's experiences are so different, which is so interesting to me, but it actually does make logical sense, because you're all in one room together flowing through the same breathwork session, yet you will all have very different experiences. Because the experience that we have in our breathwork session totally depends on our life thus far. And everybody's lives are so very uniquely different. So I'm going to give you some examples, and hopefully again you'll be able to feel into if this is a yes for you or not. Now, before we dive into it, before I start to tell my story and what breathwork has done for me, I do want to say, because even though what I'm about to share with you is definitely not the main benefit of breathwork, and it's not at all why I am a facilitator of this practice, you guys are all part of a gym, and I respect that. I know that being part of a gym, it's like, I want to be healthy. I want to, lose weight and be my best self physically. So these facts might get you to the breathwork session, and I'm okay with that. Like, if these get you there and then you can experience all of the amazing benefits of breathwork, fine. So first of all, belly breathing, which we're going to be doing a lot of in the breathwork session, is the number one detoxer. And I know we could all use a little bit of detoxing after that Thanksgiving holiday. So you will get such a deep detox, a deeper detox than you've ever had in your entire life through one session. Because the best way to detox the body is through belly breathing. I'm also going to link, for those of you who are podcast listeners, I am going to link a podcast episode that I did with my breathwork mentors. So one of my mentors, Dr. Corey, used to be a doctor before he became a facilitator of breathwork, and he knows a lot about the science of breathwork. So even though my stories that I'm going to share with you guys today are a bit more emotional, spiritual, can't really be explained, Dr. Corey goes really deep into the science. So if you want the science and you want how does that work, I will drop a podcast for you to listen to that will give you deeper details on that. So belly breathing is a very deep detox. You'll receive a really deep body physical detoxing session in our ceremony on Thursday, in our workshop on Thursday. And also you can burn up to 600 calories in one session. So for those of you who breathed me before, you understand why. And for those of you who haven't, we call it breath work for a reason. It's not necessarily easy. At the end, it's going to feel really relaxing and really peaceful, but the practice itself, it's not super easy. And I'm going to teach you it at the end of this live, so you'll kind of catch on. But you can burn up to 600 calories in these breathwork sessions. All right, so those are just some fun facts about the physical body and breathwork. Let's get into why. Why did I become a facilitator of this practice? Why am I still to this day so devoted to being a breather? And why did I decide to step up into a leadership role and start facilitating breathwork? So once upon a time, I struggled really badly with anxiety. Who can relate to this? So if you're on the replay, also, hey, let me know that you're here. If you're here live, let me know that you're watching. But I used to struggle really, really badly with anxiety. I would experience anxiety every single day. And there was a really long period in my life where I actually didn't know what anxiety was. I would experience it, I would feel it, it would feel really poor in my body, it wouldn't feel good in my body, but I didn't know it was called anxiety. So I would experience it every single day, and it seemed as though every single day it would get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then flip to 3 years ago, I started my business and it turned into chronic anxiety. So I was waking up in the morning feeling anxious right when I opened my eyes. And that would lead to a lot of numbing, because if we don't know how to feel and process and release the anxiety, we tend to numb it. We numb it through, for me, I was numbing it through Netflix. I was numbing it through food. So I'd wake up and I'd watch Netflix at like 9 in the morning, and I'd watch it all day long, even though I was supposed to be working on my business. So for those of you who don't know my story, the reason I got into this personal development work in the first place is because I struggled really badly with binge and emotional eating. So I would turn to food whenever I was feeling a bad emotion. Most of the time when I was feeling a good emotion as well, I would turn to food to celebrate, which is not bad. None of this is bad. It's just what it is. So I would turn to food when I was feeling emotional, but then also I would binge eat when I was feeling really bad. So when I was feeling really anxious or really sad or really lonely, I would turn to food. Enter breathwork. So I discovered breathwork when I was at the peak state of the chronic anxiety. And you guys, it completely changed my life in the sense that it 100% helped me heal the chronic anxiety I was experiencing. So I was waking up with anxiety, like I said, every single day. And then all of a sudden, one of my mentors at the time introduced me to breathwork. And so I started practicing it with this mentor once a week. And I did this for maybe like 10 to 12-ish weeks. And at the end of that 10 to 12-ish weeks, I was not experiencing chronic anxiety anymore. And I'm going to explain why that is in a second, and why my logical brain thinks that is. It was so powerful for me. And so I'm not saying that anxiety completely went away. To this day, I've been in the personal development space as a student, as a protege, but also as a mentor and a leader for 5 years. And I definitely still experience sensations of anxiety here and there, but way less than I used to. And now when I experience sensations of anxiety, I know how to flow through it from an empowered place instead of numb it. So here's why I believe breathwork helped me heal the chronic anxiety I was experiencing. I'm going to give you an analogy. So I want you to imagine a computer, okay? So, and for those of you who had a computer back in the day, you probably are going to really resonate with this analogy. You know those old school computers that, like, just imagine having a bunch of web browsers open on a computer, okay? So you have a web browser open, and when you're done using that browser, you don't exit, you pull up a new browser, and you pull up another browser, and you pull up another browser. And then a pop-up pops up, and then another pop-up pops up, and then you pull up another browser, and you just have all of these tabs, all of these browsers open on your computer. What's gonna happen to that computer? It's probably going to slow way down. It's probably going to stop functioning. It's going to struggle to work properly, right? It's going to be slow. It's going to be lethargic. It might completely break. It might completely ruin your computer. It's probably going to create viruses within the computer. It's going to be lagging. It's going to have a bunch of problems. So now I want you to relate that to yourself. Imagine you are a computer, and every emotion you experience is a new tab, is a new pop-up. Most of the time, this is how we live our life. We experience an emotion, let's say anxiety, and we don't know how to feel it, process it, and release it from our body. So instead we numb it. We turn to food, we turn to alcohol, we turn to Netflix, we turn to exercise, we turn to working or overworking, we turn to a relationship or a toxic relationship, we turn to weed, we turn to drugs, because we don't like the way that feeling feels, so we want to numb it out. But every time you numb or suppress a feeling, it's like keeping the screen up, or it's like minimizing the screen. Let's go with that. So even with the computer, whether you're minimizing them or keeping them open, it's going to slow down, right? So every time you have a bad feeling, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, fear, doubt, loneliness, sadness, and instead of feeling through that feeling and releasing it, you push the minimize button. Throughout your life, you're going to keep minimizing these emotions. You're going to minimize, suppress, avoid, minimize. And therefore, they're still stuck in your body. So for so many years, I would experience anxiety and I would minimize it because I had no idea how to actually properly release it. So I'd minimize the anxiety and I would minimize and I would minimize and I'd minimize and I'd minimize. And the anxiety would build up in my body. And over time, it turned into chronic anxiety. It turned into self-doubt. It turned into worry. It turned into overwhelm. It turned into all these heavier emotions because they kept building up in my body. So if you guys have ever heard of the book, The Body Keeps Score, it goes into detail of all of this. Our body keeps score. What that means is that everything you experience over your lifetime, whether it be trauma or wounding or emotions, they get stuck in your body. It gets stuck in your body unless you know how to process it, release it, and heal it. So for me, I had a bunch of stuck anxiety in my body that was leading to chronic anxiety. And then I got introduced to the practice of breath work. And the number one benefit of breath work is it helps us pull up any stuck emotion in our body, any stuck energy in our body, and release it. That's the main goal of these breathwork sessions. So you're actually only breathing in the breathwork session on Thursday, for example, for 20 minutes. There's a lot more to it, but for 20 minutes, if you practice this breath that I'm going to teach you, and you go way deeper when you're guided, which is why I host these workshops, you're going to start to dig up emotion that's been stuck in your body and you're going to let it go. So I'm going to give you an example of one of my breathers. She came to a breathwork session at Fit Physique last year. And prior to coming to the breathwork session with me, she had a lot of anger and resentment and grudge toward this one woman in her life. And this was a woman that she couldn't get rid of, she couldn't end the relationship with. And it was really hard for her because this woman's actions and her words would create all of this resentment and this grudgy tension energy in my breather's body. So coming into the breathwork session, she realized like, okay, every time I'm around this woman, it gets worse. I feel so much anger toward her. I feel so much resentment. I feel so much annoyance toward this one woman. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And every time I see her, I'm triggered when I see her face. And this is not okay because this woman is going to be in my life for the rest of my life. So she came in knowing that I'm holding this grudge against this woman and I really need to figure out how to let it go. And so I led her and everybody else through the breathwork session at Fit Physique last year. And the session was over and she's like, yeah, I feel feel lighter. I felt a release. And then 2 days later, she reached out to me and she said, Sarah, I think you hypnotized me. I'm like, I didn't hypnotize you. Like, why do you think I hypnotized? I did not hypnotize you. What happened? Why do you think you're hypnotized? She's like, because I saw this woman for the first time since our breathwork session and I felt nothing. Ooh, I got the chills saying that. She's like, I felt nothing. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel resentful. I didn't feel the grudge. I felt nothing. I had no visceral reaction. I was able to be around her and we were able to enjoy our experience. What's happening? And I'm like, I didn't hypnotize you. You are your own healer. This is the power of breath work. What was happening with my breather is that every time this woman would say or do something that would annoy my breather didn't know how to release it in the moment, so she'd trap it in her body. She'd suppress it. She'd numb it out with alcohol, with TV, with food, just like I would with the anxiety. And so she was suppressing this anger and this annoyance toward this woman for a year, and it was getting built up in her body. And so she came to the breathwork session. I guided her through the workshop, and she was able to release so much of that anger, that resentment, that annoyance, and that grudgy energy. And just like me with the anxiety, it didn't completely heal her relationship with this woman. It definitely helped, but this breather has been back to a couple of my sessions since to release other things that have been trapped in her body. So breath work, first and foremost, is the best emotional release. And when you release those emotions, everything changes. So for me, the anxiety was my biggest wake-up call that, okay, I need breath work in my life. Another thing that breath work helps me do is create a deep, deep, deep state of peace, calm, and connection. In my opinion, our souls did not drop into these human bodies in this material realm to suffer. In my opinion, our souls, and I want you to just think about it for a second. When you were born, when you came out your mother's womb, were you anxious and stressed and overwhelmed and in fear? No, because that's not your innate state. When you were born into this world, you were embodied in peace and calm and connection and love and self-love. That's innately who you are. So the overwhelm and the stress and the fear and the anxiety and the self-doubt and the self-hate that you experience is all learned, is all acquired over time. So with breath work, the power of the 3-part breath, it takes us back into our bodies. It brings us back into our bodies and it helps us feel that connection to our soul, which is who we really are. So after this breathwork session, you will be feeling the deepest state of peace, relaxation, calm, and mind-body connection that you ever have in your life. So I want to bring another story in here that gives proof of this. Again, some of you might already know this about me, but some of you might not. Another thing that I really, really struggled with was a really bad hormone imbalance. So I had a horrible hormone imbalance for 2 years. Sorry men, this might be a little TMI, but I just need to give some context. I was missing my menstrual cycle for 2 years. It was just gone. I was really, really broken out in acne. I had super bad acne, and it was because of a really bad hormone imbalance that I was facing. And so I worked with a functional medicine doctor here in Grand Rapids. That's where I live now. I worked with this functional medicine doctor, and she tested my gut, and she realized that I had something called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, in my gut. And your gut and your endocrine system, which is the system in your body that creates all of your hormones, they work hand in hand. So if your gut's not working, your endocrine system is also not functioning. So she's like, you have SIBO, we gotta start working on your gut health first, and then the rest will heal itself. And at the exact same time, one of my best friends who lives in New York City got diagnosed with the exact same thing. So her and I were going through our hormone journeys together. She had also lost her menstrual cycle. She was experiencing other hormone imbalance symptoms, and she was also diagnosed with SIBO. So at the same exact time, we were both diagnosed with SIBO, and we started going through our treatments. And the only difference, I mean, we had a very individualized treatments because everybody's bodies are different. But besides like the supplements we were taking, and we were both doing something called the SIBO diet, besides the SIBO diet and the supplements, we had completely different lives. At this point in my life, I was already a life coach, practicing breath work and meditation. She's a mindset coach living in New York City with a bunch of stress and overwhelm and go, go, go and hustle and effort and strive, and like she was always on. I had the power of breathwork and meditation in my life. You guys, I healed 8 months quicker than her. It took me 3 months to heal the SIBO that I was experiencing. And then a month later, my menstrual cycle came back after 2 years of missing it, which is still wild to me to this day because I had so many Western medicine doctors tell me, you're never getting this back, go back on birth control, like all the things. And if you guys want to know more about any of this, I have a podcast and like we have over 100 episodes and my whole journey is on there. But I got my menstrual cycle back after 3 months of healing my gut, and then slowly my face started to clear, whereas it took her so much longer. Why is that? Because I had breath work and she did not. I was practicing breath work. If you know anything about the mind and the body connection, you know that stress and anxiety is like the #1 cause of physical ailments. Stress and anxiety affects us physically probably more than we realize. So we're both going through this protocol to heal our bodies, but I healed way quicker because I was actually learning at that time how to process and release all of these emotions like stress, overwhelm, fear, and anxiety that were getting in my way of physical healing. And again, I chalk that up to breath work. So I actually have a client. I'm business coaching now at this point in my journey as well. And I have a client who is a doctor in functional medicine here in Grand Rapids. And she helps women with fertility and with hormones. And actually she helps men with hormones as well. But she is now becoming a breathwork facilitator because she's been breathing with me over the past 6 months. And she's like, this has changed my life. She sends clients into my breathwork membership online. It's changing their lives physically. Breathwork is such a powerful tool to help us heal our physical bodies. And so again, another example from one of my breathers. I actually just found this out last week, a week and a half ago. I had a breather. So she is one of my mom's friends. And so I was near her and she was talking about breathwork and how excited she is for this workshop coming up. And she was telling me that she had been dealing with, I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was tendonitis. It was something in her heel. She was having really, really bad heel pain. She was having this achy pain in her heel for months. And she went to the doctor and they were in the process of trying to figure out what to do about this. And she came to my breathwork session last month. I had one like mid-month in Grand Rapids. And she's like, Sarah, I swear to you, I come to the breathwork session. I had pain that day and I left the breathwork session and I have not had the pain in my heel ever since. I mean, even I mind blowed at that one. I need to reach out to my mentor and ask him his opinion on that. But it is so amazing for physical healing. So that's the second thing that I wanted to bring today. And lastly, breathwork is so I used breathwork a lot at first to really help me overcome challenges that I was facing. So I used breathwork to help me heal chronic anxiety and work through overwhelm and fear and stress that comes with being a business owner. I used it to heal past traumas that I've experienced in my life and really help me navigate through them because, again, those are still stuck in our bodies if we haven't learned how to properly heal and release them. So I used it more so for helping me overcome these challenges. But with my career being a life coach and a breathwork facilitator and being an embodiment of all of my work, there came a time in my life where, and still to this day, things aren't bad. I don't really I have struggles. Oh my gosh. I don't want to say this wrong. I do have struggles. I do struggle. I am a human. I have struggles. I have challenges, but not like I used to. The struggles and the challenges that I experience in life, they don't control me. They don't control my reality like they once used to. So I got to this point in my life where I was feeling really good. feeling very connected to my soul, feeling very peaceful. And so I still use breath work, and of course I still use it during the challenging times in my life. However, I now more so use breath work to help me see and feel my truth in my vision for life. So again, for those of you here who have breathed with me before, you know that these sessions go one of two ways. Either A, it helps you release something you've been holding onto and gripping onto, and something that's been stuck in your bodies for years, and then you feel lighter after. And you're probably going to feel that releasing throughout the session. You might cry, you might scream, you might shake, you might feel the release. You probably will feel the release. So either you can have this experience where it's like, holy shit, I felt all my emotions and my feelings and everything that's been stuck in my body so deeply, and now I feel free, now I feel light. Or you could have a session where you come in and you're breathing and it's just bliss. You're seeing your vision, you're seeing your potential, you're seeing your goals coming to fruition, you're seeing your capabilities, you're seeing your full potential and who you came here to be. Breath work until this day still helps me connect to my vision and who I came here to be. It can be so easy, and so breath work actually really helped me with my business, because it can be so easy to get caught up in self-doubt. And doubting yourself and doubting your ability and not thinking that you're enough to do something or be somebody who you want to be. And again, going back to what I talked about at the beginning, breathwork helps us connect to our soul and to who we truly are. It has fully helped me feel the truth that I am enough as I am, that I am worthy as I am, and that I am capable. That I am capable, that I'm enough, that I got this, that I came here to do big things, and I'm fully capable of bringing all of my desires to fruition. It helped me connect back to my desires in general, because so often what I find is that we go through life and we end up cutting ourselves off from our desires because we think we shouldn't have them, or we think a lot of the times it's like, I don't think I'm good enough to bring this desire to fruition. I don't think I have what it takes, so I'm just gonna not let myself desire. Breathwork helps us come back to our desires, and not only that, helps us realize that we are fully capable of bringing them to fruition. So, okay, actually one more piece that I wanted to talk about that I forgot to mention earlier is that this practice has totally helped me love myself. It has helped me love myself, and it has helped me, like I was just saying, with my ability to believe in myself. So any of you who have been in mindset work, I think mindset work is so amazing. And if you're a podcast listener, if you're not, you can go listen to episode number 2. We recorded it 2 years ago. It's all about core beliefs. So if you're trying to convince yourself mentally with your mind that I'm enough, I got this, I'm capable, I love myself, of course I love myself, I can love myself, I love my hair, I love my eyes, I love my outfit, I'm good at this. If you're trying to mentally convince yourself to love yourself, or you're trying to mentally convince yourself that you have what it takes to live the life that you came here to live, it's only going to last for so long, and here's why. Because we are all operated by something called core beliefs. So for me, for example, I was trying to convince myself here that I loved myself, but it wasn't working because deep down I had this core belief that I am not enough as I am. So this was very, very, and it's cool to look back on my journey because this was very active during college, me trying to convince myself here that I'm pretty enough and I'm good enough and I'm lovable and I got this, but it wasn't really landing because deep down I felt like I wasn't enough. This transitioned into when I was just talking about earlier how I experienced really bad acne when I was going through my hormone imbalance. And during that time, I was trying to convince myself mentally that my acne doesn't define me. My acne doesn't define me. It's not who I am. I am pretty enough. I am good enough. I can love myself. My acne doesn't define me, but it would never feel true. And this is kind of like mantras. I'm sure you guys have heard of mantras before, and after affirmations, I should say. You guys probably know that term more. Affirmations. Affirmations are great, and I support affirmations. And if you're only doing affirmations and you're trying to convince yourself mentally that you are something that feels completely untrue in your body, it's never going to land and it's never going to work. So for me, I was trying to convince myself here that my acne doesn't define me and I'm pretty as I am and I should love myself, but my body was like, because deep down I had this belief that I am not enough, that I need to be somebody different in order to be worthy, in order to be enough. And breath work has totally helped me shift that. I can still remember to this day one of the most profound breathwork sessions of my life. I was in Austin, Texas. I was breathing in person with my mentors, and I felt viscerally my I am not enough wound shift. Like I experienced it so consciously and subconsciously in the session. It was so beautiful. So breathwork has helped me actually love myself here. And it's so, again, going back to what I was saying, it's wild because I started breathing, I started loving myself on a visceral level, and then my acne cleared. And then my gut health cleared. So, or it healed. So the power of breathwork. I want to share 2 more stories from breathers, and then we're going to breathe. I had another woman who came to one of my sessions at Fit Physique last year. She was going through a really, really hard time in her life. So hard that she had alcohol in her car waiting for her for after the session. So again, it was a hard time in her life, and that was her vice of choice, was alcohol. And so she had some alcohol in the car to turn to. She knew she shouldn't drink it before the breathwork session, because for those of you who breathe with me, you'll receive an email Wednesday night or Thursday morning with need to knows, and one of them is you can't drink a lot of liquids or eat a lot of food before these sessions. So she knew she couldn't drink it before the session, so she's like, I'll have it in my car for after. She did the breathwork session. She gave it her all. I actually just found this out like recently. And she went out to her car and she looked at the alcohol and she's like, I feel no pull to it. I don't need it. I feel so complete. I feel so connected to my body. I feel so at peace. I don't need the alcohol. And so she didn't drink it. And again, chills all over my body, because this work is so freaking powerful. Breath work connects us so deeply to our bodies, so deeply to our truth, so deeply to the truth that we are all we need. And so for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that my mission and why I do what I do is because I believe that everything we need for happiness, for peace, for fulfillment, for joy, for expansion, for success in this world is within us, is inside of our bodies. And so often we're taught to look outside of ourselves, to turn to alcohol, to food, to relationships, to people pleasing, to whatever it is outside of us to be happy. But all of you guys know that that does not work, because you've all been there. It's like, oh, well, if I turn to food, I'll be happy. Yeah, temporarily. And then how do you feel the next morning? If I turn to alcohol, I'll feel good and all my problems will be solved. Yeah, temporarily. And then how do you feel the next day? This goes into, and again, I have a whole podcast episode on the when then game. When I lose the weight, then I'll be happy, then I'll be fulfilled, then everything will be amazing. How many of you have lost some weight and you're like, where's the happiness? I thought I was going to be my best self once I lost the weight. I thought I was going to be happy and fulfilled and my most amazing, peaceful self. What happened? Or I see this a lot, and I talk about this a lot in my world with money. When I make the money, when I'm rich, then I'll be happy. Then things will be amazing. That's not how it works. It's not a when then game. It's figure out how to feel the happiness, the joy, the gratitude, the peace, the bliss, the trust, the surrender in your body first. And then the rest will unfold beautifully. And then you will feel that joy and that pride and that gratitude and that excitement as you achieve your goals. But it's not a when then game. And if you play the when then game, you'll always stay on this hamster wheel and like in this rat race of life. So the last story that I want to share, this happened. So like I said, I hosted a breathwork session, an in-person breathwork session in Grand Rapids last month. And I had this woman come. She's in her 50s and she has 3 kids who are, grown now. But after the session, I walked up to her and I'm like, how did it go? It was her first session ever. And she starts crying. And she said, Sarah, ooh, I'm gonna get emotional. She's like, I met and felt my 20-year-old self again. This session connected me to that 20-year-old self, that loving, carefree, joyful, exuberant being that I used to be, that I am, that I've lost touch with over the years, with kids and jobs and life. I've lost touch with her. For so long, I've been disconnected to her. In this session, I saw her, I felt this energy. And I was reminded and that she's here, that I am still her, that her energy is still within me. And it's so true. For all of you, especially for those of you who are, you used to be a version of yourself that you miss, that you wish you could be again. And now this could go really deep, but I wanted to keep this like 45-ish minutes tops. So I'm not going to go there today. But all of you, that version that you used to be, that version of you is still in you. You still have that energy in you. That fun, lighthearted, carefree, loving, trusting, confident, that was the word she used, confident version of you is still in you. And breathwork has the power to connect you back to that part of you so that you can start living life as that version of you again. And I know I've used a lot of examples of women today, but for the men here, I want you to know that this practice is for you too. I have more and more men coming into my world for breathwork in these workshops. Even though this practice is so potent for everybody, I would say that it's maybe a tad bit more potent for men, because men in general, and I mean really all of us, but men especially, are taught to suppress emotion. Man up, be tough, don't cry. And that's so much suppression. I had a man join one of my sessions a few weeks ago. It was a virtual session, and he came out and he had tears in his eyes. And his partner shared with me that in their 6 years of relationship, she's never seen tears in his eyes before. She's never seen him cry. She's never seen any emotion. And he had tears in his eyes at the end of the session. And all he said after the session was, how can I do that again? So he's coming back for more this month. So it's for everybody, no matter where you're at in life, whether you're like, I feel pretty good and I'd love to meet my next level. I'd love to meet my highest potential. Or whether you're like, life is not good right now and I feel a lot of stress and I feel a lot of overwhelm and I'd love to access the peace that's rightfully mine. Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle. The session is for you and we would love to have you. All right, so that is that. Again, I will drop that podcast episode in the comments if any of you desire to listen. I do want to lead you through a little session, but before I do, so for those of you who maybe can't do the session with me right now, just know that signups enrollment is still available. It's still open today. I've actually not decided yet how many I'm capping it at. I think we have 7 people enrolled with 3 to 4 more enrolling in the next couple of days. So again, I don't know what the cap is. Tabitha and I chatted about it and we decided that if we have 12 or less, we'll do it in the yoga studio. And if we have more, we'll do it in the gym. So I will let you know when we're getting close to capacity. However, I do recommend locking in your spot ASAP because it will devote you to actually showing up, right? You could sit here all week and be like, oh, I'll think about it. It sounds kind of cool, but let me think about it. And if you do that, chances are you probably aren't going to be there. So enroll, sign up, pay. It's $33. It'll be the best $33 that you've ever spent in your life. And I can guarantee that. Enroll, put it on your calendar, and show up for yourself. You will not regret it. All right, so for those of you who do want to experience this a little bit, we're just going to do a few minutes. So I'm going to lead you through 3-ish minutes of the breathwork practice that I'll be guiding you through on Thursday, but it's going to look a lot different. We're not going to use music in this little session. On Thursday, there's going to be a lot more to it. It is a 90-minute workshop, so we'll be doing some journaling, some reflecting. I'll be speaking a little bit more on the practice and introducing it to the members or the souls who are coming who are not in the Fit Physique page. So we'll be going over a couple of things that I already talked about today. And then I will guide you through a full breathwork session, which ends up being about 35-ish minutes. So we start with like a little meditation. I lead you through the actual breathing, which is 20 minutes. And then we exit with a guided visualization as well. After that, you'll reflect, we'll open up for some shares. It's gonna be super wholesome, lots of connection. So it will be very different than what I guide you through here, but doing this breath just for 3 minutes can really start to get you to realize how potent this breath is, because you will start to feel physical sensations even with just 3 minutes, and you'll probably feel a lot lighter as well. So to preface, if you are pregnant, do not do this session with me. If you are pregnant, do not sign up for the session. We don't have enough, it's just that we don't have enough data yet on how this may or may not affect a growing baby in the womb. Just kind of like if you are pregnant, you know, with a lot of things, it's like, we don't really know. So just don't. So if you're pregnant, come back 6 weeks postpartum. Don't do this if you're driving. Don't do this if you are in water. So what we're gonna do is this breath is all done through the mouth. So you're gonna open your mouth nice and wide, and you're gonna relax your jaw. I want you to bring one hand to your belly. Let's see if I can flip my camera down a little bit so you can see this. So you're gonna bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. So this is a 3-part breath, but it's one inhale and one exhale. So the inhale is done in 2 parts. It sounds like this. So you're gonna breathe your breath into your belly, pull it up into your heart, and let it go. Belly, chest, 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 let it go. Again, belly, chest, let it go. Keep it going. 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. So those inhales are intentional. The exhale is more passive. If it's hard for you to breathe into your belly, it's okay. Just give it your best shot. And even just practicing, like I'm feeling a little light. Know that during this practice, you can feel a little lightheaded. You're fine. You're not gonna pass out. Nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm gonna give you some more forewarnings on Thursday, because there is a lot of, when you release an emotion, when you're releasing everything that's stuck in your body, you're gonna feel it coming out through physical sensations, hot, cold, tingles, lightheadedness. It's all normal. It's just emotion moving through your body. We'll go into more details though on Thursday, because with just 3 minutes, you shouldn't experience too much of it. And if you do, just know that you're safe and everything's gonna go back to normal at the end. So with this 3-minute session, you can sit up, but if you are sitting up, I recommend having a chair with a back behind you. Maybe sit on your couch or up against your couch, or you can lie down if you desire to. So I'm going to have you get into a comfortable position. And if it feels good for you, just go ahead and close down the eyes. And I'll let you know when to begin the breath. But before we do, I want you to just take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Deepest breaths you've taken all day. Fill all the way up and let go with an audible sigh. One more in through the nose and out through the mouth. Relax your shoulders. And I want you to just pay attention to how you're feeling in your body right now. Maybe you feel some tightness or some tension or some physical pain. If so, bring awareness to this part of your body. Breathe into it. I want you to imagine that you're sending your breath to this area, allowing your breath to soften the tightness, the tension, the pain that you are experiencing. With every inhale, soften your body. With every exhale, melt a little deeper into your space. Let your body get heavy. If you're sitting up, sit up straight, head held high. And just continue to observe what you're feeling in your body right now, in this stillness, in this present moment. Letting go of your to-do list, letting go of what happened before this session, letting go of what's on your to-do list for after this session, just knowing that the present moment is the only thing that's real. The past doesn't exist. The future is not here yet. All of your power to heal what you've been through in the past and to create the future that you desire lies in this present moment, here and now. And now I want you to just set an intention. So I want you to think of a word, an emotion that you desire to feel. Maybe it's peace, maybe it's trust, joy, abundance, happiness, calm, forgiveness, love. Think of a word that you desire to feel. And I just want you to say to yourself in your head or out loud, I intend to embody whatever your word is. So I intend to embody abundance. I intend to embody love. I intend to embody forgiveness, embody peace. And with that, bring one hand to your belly, one to your chest, open your mouth nice and wide, take a deep breath into your belly, pull it up into your heart, and let it go. Belly, chest, let it go. Keep it going. 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. Belly, chest, let it go. Keep it going, fully in, fully out. You are safe to breathe. You are safe to breathe. You are safe to feel. You are safe to be in your body. Imagine that with every inhale, you're breaking open stuck emotions, stress, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, sadness, and with every exhale, you're letting it go. Keep it going. Out of the head, into the body. With every exhale, relaxing your shoulders, dropping a little deeper into your body. You got this. You can do anything for 3 minutes. Keep breathing. Letting go of all the emotion that's no longer serving you, that's holding you back and keeping you stuck. Breathing in, channeling that energy that you desire. What would it feel like for the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm to leave your body? Maybe you send it out with an audible sigh. And know that you have full permission to give your body what it needs. Maybe your body needs to shake. Maybe it needs to scream. Maybe you need to shake your hands. Maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to laugh. You do not need to stay still. Give your body what it needs, but keep breathing. Just 1 more minute. You got this. Now I want you to tap into what it would feel like to channel that emotion you desire. What does love feel like in your body? What does abundance feel like? What does trust? What does forgiveness feel like? You know what it feels like. It's your birthright. You were born in this energy. You've just lost touch with it. It's time to come back home. What does it feel like to be an embodiment of peace? Let the breath show you the way. You don't need to know. You don't need to have it figured out. Your breath and your body will show you if you let it. Keep breathing. Good. Just a couple more rounds. Good. Let go of that 3-part breath. Slow down the breathing. Seal the lips. Return to nostril breathing. And when you're ready, I want you to take a deep inhale. Pull all of your energy up to the top of your body and hold your breath. As you hold your breath, get out of your head, drop into your body. Holding for 10, 9, 8, relax your face, relax your shoulders, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, audible sigh, let it go. Good. I'll just hang out here for a moment. Nostril breathing, breathing that breath in and out of your belly. How do you feel in your mind? How do you feel in your body after just 3 minutes of breathing? Maybe you even feel a teeny tiny connection to your soul, to your highest self. Bring your hands to your heart. Feel your heart beating, your life force energy flowing through your body. And thank yourself for showing up to this practice. It might have been new, it might have been scary, or maybe you just haven't done breathwork in a while. Thank yourself for being here, for giving it your all, for taking 3 minutes to connect into your body, into your desires. And I want you to take a moment to visualize what the rest of your day, the rest of your night might look like if you choose consciously to be an embodiment of that energy. What would it look like to embody love, to be a vessel of love? What would peace look like for you today, tonight? What would it look like to trust? What would it require of you? And let your heartbeat be a reminder that you are capable of bringing this to fruition. Bring a smile to your face. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the call. And let me know in the comments how you are feeling after 3 minutes of this breath. And again, if it was hard for you to keep up with the breath, know that that's normal. It's okay. When we do it for a longer duration on Thursday, you're going to get into the flow of it after a few minutes. I like to tell my breathers that like the first 5 to 6-ish minutes, they're the hardest part. It's where you actually have to work to breathe, but eventually your body takes over and it does the work for you, and everybody's always so mind blown by that. So if it was a challenge, don't worry, you are still invited on Thursday. But I'd love to hear how that mini session went for you. If you're just hopping on live, make sure you come back to the replay, and I will timestamp where the breathwork starts so that you guys can come back to it, and we'll leave this posted in here for a while. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about any of this at all. Again, I will drop the podcast episode, and I'll also drop a link to the event where you can sign up. So for those of you who are Fit Physique members, I've been told that you can sign up for the workshop through your app. And if you are not a Fit Physique member, or if you have a friend or a family member or a coworker that you would like to sign up, or either you want them to sign up or you would like them to sign up, we also have a link in the events page where anybody can sign up, even if you're not a Fit Physique member. So again, let me know how that went for you, and let me know if you have any questions about this. I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday at 7 p.m. if this workshop is a yes for you in your body. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you soon. Bye.